Hey everyone, before I start the video, I would like to thank you all about how much it kind of means to me that you all got me up this far, even though it's like an 80s subscribers or probably 90s. I haven't checked because something happened and it's not a good thing. So I hope you all are proud of yourselves. So in August, somewhere in August 2015, I used to have this addiction with technology, and I was 11 back then. So it would make I would have the mind of a walnut, and my IQ levels would be raisin. But I used to have this addiction when I was in elementary school. About maybe when August was ending, and the addiction would be with technology, like every other Fortnite player nowadays. But this addiction wasn't that bad. I mean, I would be off of it, doing nothing but my homework. I would have to go to elementary school, so that's 7 hours of the damn computer, and we only had one computer and two TVs. So the we was fine, and then that's when August ended, and I started having breaking, or no, I started doing things, not that bad of a thing, but at the same time I would get up in the middle of the night and go on the computer and stay up for like 2 or 1 hours, and my mother would allow it and stuff. And then that's when stuff started getting down and wasn't pretty. Around October 2015, it was kind and fine and all until we started getting phone calls about my grandfather, who was getting sicker and sicker because he was a U.S. Navy vet and he would smoke a lot. That's good. After we were getting calls, we would have to take care of him a lot, and it was starting to affect my parents and all, which started making them start losing trust in a lot of things, which would have been fun. And for me, I was nearly a troublemaker at my school. I would refuse to do homework. I would usually get out of class. I so-called sneak out of it. I would say I would need to go to the bathroom. They would give me a hall pass, and the entire time school was there, I would just sit in my locker and not do homework. And after that, it started going towards probably May, June in 2016. It would get more frustrating since I went 2 grades higher than usual status, because they weren't aware of my age, and they thought, oh no, he's fine. We can put him up in 2nd grade. So I was in kindergarten, that was boosted past first to second to Miss Collins. Therefore, it would get more frustrating and all, and it would be harder and harder for me because I wouldn't do my homework back then in kindergarten. So my walnut self brain of raisin IQ would say, no, I can do this. But at the same time, when they put down something, part of multiplication and subtraction, it would damage. It felt like my brain was rotting and damaged to where I couldn't do it. So I'd throw fits and stuff like a normal 12-year-old boy. And it really was humiliating because back then I used to have this crush on a girl. And after that crush, things would start to get bad and stuff. I remember one time when she hit her head because her seat was so unstable that one of the back we had like iron wooden desks and seats, and after that her back legs snapped because of how hollow they are, and no one repaired them after a few years after their use. So the back legs snapped and her head slammed into the back of another guy's desk or another student's desk. Past all that, in nearly towards 2017, around December, it was near Christmas, and we were doing fine until I was pulled out of school. Reason is because I was such a troublemaker that I got suspended, and I wouldn't go back because my mother yanked me out thinking that they're abusing me, which they wouldn't. It was actually all my doing of being a rat control infestation towards the entire school. Back then, like I said, I had a walnut head with a raisin-like brain IQ level, so I wouldn't really much know anything. So the only thing I knew was to run around, act free, and then go to detention. Now, sometimes in detention, I would sit under the desks. They would have like these stalled like desks where you have walls and then a desk and then a chair, and you have to sit there for about nearly 3 or 4 hours, or maybe the entire school, until school's ends, and then they report it to your parents. And my parents didn't really knew why, because the school rules and stuff nowadays are different from last decade, yes, and it was different. After that, in 2016 started, it was spring, and we were doing fine until we had to move from Tacoma to Seattle so we can get closer to my father's work. And after we got closer to my father's work, we were doing fine, and that's when things started going downhill. 2017, spring. July, there we go. After that, we got a call that my grandfather had passed out, and he was taken to a hospital that was closer to him, which was nearly close, but it was far from the SeaTac, I think, yes, from SeaTac. And after that, we went to the hospital, and he was doing fine and all. And then 4 months later, he was taken to a what was a hospice? There we go. And after he was taken to a hospice, he was having issues, and so we went to go check. And as for my father, he didn't want to go there because the second he would see his own father in pain, I would be like doing the same thing. I would be sick on my knees and wouldn't be able to move, just to feel the same pain that my own father's going through. After that, we were told that he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and we thought it would be able to be cured. Well, my mother thought it would be able to be cured. We would occupy him for a while, and then after we last check on him, my mother decided to do the entire alpha thing of, oh, I'm so brave and all because I was part of the military that I can keep this secret from you, and you guys just have to beg for it until I have the chance to tell you. And so we waited for weeks, months, and nearly a year. Around November, Around November, we were told that he nearly died and that he has stage 4 cancer, which is not very rare. Oh no, it's very rare, but sometimes you don't instantly come from stage 1 to stage 4 instantly. That's what I read in the medical conditions book of cancer patients. But it was very rare. And so we checked on him, and he was suffering. So he looked normal, but the stench of his rotten flesh was just not happy. Father finally came with us, and we all thought he could survive maybe another week, as we were told. Next day, we got a call that he passed away. And so that was the end of it. December, around Christmas, on 2017, after my grandfather passed away, it affected my family so bad to where we all thought the world was gonna fucking end. Like, so it was more of a nuclear bomb dropping, everything's gone. So after that, I got a good redemption out of my parents, giving them a lightened sanity and showing them that it's all fine by getting my father addicted to the PlayStation, but that didn't work. No, it didn't. So I tried fixing them. My sisters hardly tried fixing them, but at the same time, they're damaging them more because of how much they fight, and they would mention Grandpa a lot around Father. So Father would just now go over to my next door neighbors who takes a lot of marijuana. You could smell that stuff for days. They would take a lot of marijuana, but my father would just take his own cigarettes. And he would go over there, drink for entire nights, every day, and my mother would still got more affected by my father more than his pain, because Father wouldn't come over, so my mother would drink heavily too. As a Irish American, she has a little Irish blood in her, so she would be an alcoholic for days, which would really cause a lot of pain to her. She thought it was fine and all, but she doesn't understand that it was affecting her too much. And after it was affecting her too much, my father would come home to my mother yelling at one of us. And once she would yell at one of us, she would go for another victim and another one until my father leaves. And then after she picks a fight with him, they both go to bed, and one of them sleeps on the couch, and they don't. And now they sleep together now again. But my mother got brainwashed by her alcohol poisoning to where she now thinks it's okay to be super dominant and take away your freedom. She spreaded so many lies about how much I don't get up early, and I'll agree with her about that. That's the only thing I'm going to agree with her. I had a broken sleeping schedule to where I would sleep around 2 p.m. Oh, no. Yeah, I would sleep around from... I would go to bed around 9 to 12 a.m., then I would sleep through the entire night and end up around 2 or 4 p.m., then wake up and have my mother screaming at me saying I've been up all night. Sometimes, it was only 5 or 6 times she caught me staying up. Those were the times that I couldn't sleep at all because my stupid sisters thought it was a good idea to take the dogs, and I can't sleep without the dogs. It gets really paranoid downstairs in the darkness, and it's really not settling. 2018, lovely. Around the starting of 2018, my mother's alcohol poisoning would get worse and worse to where we would tell her that she needs a doctor, and her only words are, I don't want to go to the doctors because the only thing they want is money. even though they were trying to help her. So it wouldn't work. Now, she would keep drinking and drinking and drinking until she got the idea, hey, I think I know what's the problem is. The electronics. Even though she after the news lately, when stuff happens a lot, I used to spend a night at my cousin's to get away from my mother, even though I'm not much of a person who goes to other people's houses and stays there for a night. Every time I would come home, she would yell at me. Well, no, she would pick me up, shut the windows, and then start yelling at me as we're heading home. And then she would yell at me more, and then I had to do the dishes and stuff. And she got to the point where she couldn't take it anymore. She decided to take my PS4 around June, and she took it upstairs, and she said, I don't get it. The only way for me to play on it is all day, and then I sit up here on a damn table right now, suffering. So I thought it was okay. She said only the PS4, not the computer. So I had kept the computer. I'd been telling her rapidly, and she's been yelling at me for many times about this. If I'm not doing my homework, I don't get anything. Even though that if she looks at my file folder that I got rid of all my homework from kindergarten, and I replaced it with the homework I do now, she would actually understand that I'm doing my homework. And she thinks that I would stay up every night, because my sleeping schedule is broken. So she thinks that every time she goes to bed and stuff, I'm up all night. So she would unplug the internet. Now, once you unplug the internet, you can't really do anything. Alright? There's nothing much to do. So I would sleep the entire night. Same with every other night, but she believes herself. Her minds are like Medic from fucking Team Fortress 2. So last month, after this entire incident thing has been happening, my mother had my PS4 upstairs, and I would do anything to tell her that I've been not sleeping. No, I have been sleeping. She would just think I'm not. So I would do the entire thing of helping her. I would help her do stuff. I would do the chores. I would do as much to gain her trust. The thing that broke me, or the thing that told me that it's all over, was she said that I broke her trust. All the way back to 2017. No, 16. 2016. So I would be like, okay, that's fine. And last year, I was gaining smartness because of how much I would do my homework. I'm in calculus right now. I'm nearly 15, and I'm doing calculus. So I'm doing fine. And then I would do the entire detective thing. Because my mother would be so dramatic when she drinks. And then when she's not drinking, she would spread lies everywhere. So now, I can't go outside, because if I go outside, then people will look at me, and they would see me as a son who doesn't care or doesn't give two shits about his entire family, even though I'm trying to help him. So I can't really fix it, because when I try to, they wouldn't believe me. So I can't go outside now. And yet my mother's like, go outside, you're fine. So last night, I had my computer taken because they thought it was the only issue of me so-called staying up all night, even though that I've been doing nothing but my homework lately. That's the only thing I've been doing on that computer. And sometimes I would play Team Fortress 2 with Killer because I had nothing else to do. I couldn't play on my PS4 because of my sisters who were retarded and does not know anything about privacy. Oh yeah. Excuse me. Same thing about my mother. She doesn't know privacy as well. Same with my entire family. They would try and bust down my door just to get me to unlock it, even even though the lock is specifically meant for keeping people out when people wants their privacy. So the only thing I can say is that my mother's gotten full liberal. After that, when my computer was taken away, I've been thinking all night about knowing about all this, and then my research has been coming to a conclusion: alcohol poisoning. So I can't do videos anymore when my mother is poisoned by her own alcohol, and I'm trying to fix it all, but she doesn't trust me at all, even though I specifically has been trying to convince her about everything she's been believing that it's not true. So I thank you all for watching this video, and once my mother sees this, she's probably gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have to whoop his ass because he's lying. You all don't have to believe him. He's full of shit. Well, second of all, I don't really give a damn. And third of all, I can have the power to get you in jail just to have you control your alcohol poisoning. So, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like. I'm gonna make another video once I have my life back together. And if I won't, then I'm just probably gonna keep my channel like this, with this the only video that's left. Fuck. I really don't like the way I'm being treated. See ya.